Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Fight, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hunter. Welcome back to the Baseball Fight. Hope you like this video and smash that subscribe button. So we're back here tonight talking about the general manager meetings in San Antonio, Texas. And we're going to talk about David Stearns, that's president of baseball operations. He's got quite the task at hand to sort of set up this team. It's unbelievable that, 2 weeks ago, the Mets, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, the Mets finished their season. And here we are talking about 2025. So what happens is you go into late October. But they have a lot of work to do. And one of the things that was mentioned, before we get into the bulk of this thing, one of the things that's of note that happened down there is that the Mets sent the qualifying offer to Pete Alonso, Luis Severino, and Sean Manaea. Okay, of the three of them, I think Luis Severino will be back. If the Mets lose Pete Alonso, I think there's a lot of options out there for the Mets to bring in for this offseason. And Sean Manaea is going to have a ton of teams on him. The Red Sox are going to be all over him, I would think. That's the team I've heard for really the last 4 months on him. A lot of rumors that they've wanted him. So that's a team to keep an eye on. But let's get into the bulk of this video. This is from the New York Post. Dave Stearns facing different Mets questions, including Juan Soto at the GM meetings this time. Also, they talked a lot about looking for a center fielder. That Brandon was probably going to be the regular left fielder going forward, which he was anyway this past season. But in all likelihood, I don't think he's going to be playing center field anymore just to fill in. But it seems that the Mets, one of the things they're going to be looking for this offseason is a center fielder. Whether it be Harrison Bader coming back, I would move on from him. And they can use Tyrone Taylor as a fourth outfielder. He's perfect in that spot. But it's the article from the Post. Dave Stearns facing different Mets questions, including Juan Soto, at the GM meetings this time. The only multi-year contract the Mets gave to a free agent last winter was a 2-year deal or $28 million to Sean Manaea that contained an opt-out. Offseason number 2 in Dave Stearns' tenure, leading the front office is underway. It's almost a given. The Mets will be more aggressive in free agency. He said that the MLB universe is open to the Mets. It's a topic Stearns addressed in the aftermath of the team's loss to the Dodgers in Game 6 of the NLCS. We've got financial flexibility, and it means that pretty much the entirety of the player universe is potentially accessible to us. That's an enormous opportunity. I envision us taking advantage of that opportunity and being aggressive in certain spaces. The general managers meeting begin Monday, and the meetings will go until Thursday with owner Steve Cohen's checkbook. Now, Steve Cohen was in Florida, by the way, today at Mets fantasy camp. And it figures to be busy convening with agents. Oh, he wasn't with the agents. He was talking to these old timers and the former players down in Florida playing fantasy baseball. A payroll that last season totaled roughly $317 million now sits at about $158 million. The estimated raises for arbitration-eligible players factoring in. Dead money from last season to players such as Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and James McCann, as well as Omar Narvaez, counts for a specific portion of the money off the books. Quote, I would expect us to send some of that, a good portion of that, to complement our team, Stearns said. Heading into next year, we're also not going to do anything that hamstrings us in future years and prevents us from continually adding to our core group. Okay, and here's some of the looks. The big free agents. First up, of course, Juan Soto, and he's finally available. And the Mets have every reason to pursue the 26-year-old, who would join Francisco Lindor to give the Mets a second organizational cornerstone. There's every reason to believe Soto, in terms of present-day dollars, will eclipse the heavily deferred $700 million contract Shohei Ohtani received last winter. You imagine that? It was a deal calculated at $437.5 million in present-day value. Soto, because of his age, fits into the same mode as Yoshinobu Yamamoto, whom the Mets pursued last offseason. Pete Alonso has stated he would like to remain a Met, and Stearns has said he would like to retain the slugging first baseman. Dance has begun, but with the two sides find common ground on a new contract, Soto and Alonso are both represented by Scott Boras, so that should create an interesting dynamic. Alex Bregman could be an intriguing option to play third base if the Mets decide to move on from Alonso and use Mark Vientos at first base. I would throw a name out there. I would put out Willy Adames, possibly for third base or second base. I know he's been a shortstop. He's 28 years old, but that's a name. I've heard it a little bit here and there. I thought about it today. I would mention also, because the Mets need a center fielder, look at Cedric Mullins with Baltimore. I know the SNY was talking about it today in the last few days. And there's a lot of young players down there. He might become expendable. And he does have 2 more years on his contract. Maybe they move him to somewhere, maybe the Mets. Because the Mets are open to trades. Another Boras client opted out from his contract that Sean Manaea is expected, and Luis Severino and Jose Quintana are free agents. Now, Quintana did not get a qualifying offer. He's gone. Manaea has the highest upside of the group, but the Mets will have to decide just how far they might want to go with the left-hander who turns 33 before spring training. I would think with Severino getting that qualifying offer, that I don't think too many teams will be interested in that, having to give up a draft pick. Manaea is a different story because he's left-handed, and he really jumped up as a real big-time pitcher. Externally, the big names include Corbin Burns, right? Got a qualifying offer. Max Fried got a qualifying offer. And Blake Snell, who opted out from his contract with the Giants. Jack Flaherty and Walker Buehler. Buehler did not get a qualifying offer. Both helped Dodgers win the World Series and are now available. Identifying trade partners at the Mets signed Soto that could lead the team shopping Starling Marte. I would suggest the Mets should move Starling Marte, just to begin with. With his age, and the Mets have Drew Gilbert, who could probably play right field, no problem. I would mention that Drew Gilbert could probably play center field, so maybe the Mets decide to bring in a real veteran guy, somebody a little more older than Harrison Bader for a year, and then just sort of keep that seat warm until Gilbert's ready. But Gilbert could very well play right field. If the Mets don't bring in Soto, you could put Gilbert in there at right field, and I would move Marte. Jeff McNeil's another trade candidate, depending on the direction the Mets go with the infield. I would move him too, just due to the fact that he has money coming to him. But I don't think the money's that crazy over the next 2 years. And I think that the Mets play really well in September without him. They don't really need him. And the Mets have so many young infielders that they can move him and not miss a beat. Obviously, Jose Iglesias, I would not go crazy about bringing him back, just due to the fact that he's going to be 35 years old. You got guys like Jet Williams that are trying to develop. You got Luis and Acuna. You got Brett Beatty still here. You got Ronnie Mauricio here. There's no reason to keep Jeff around. But the Mets could also look at smaller deals with terms that have arbitration-eligible players they are looking to shed. Stearns didn't have to look too far last winter for such a deal. His former team, the Brewers, traded Tyrone Taylor and Adrian Houser to the Mets for minor league players. And I also would say, and I did a video on it, and it was huge the other day. Probably one of the biggest videos I've done in quite a long time was on Devin Williams. And Devin Williams did not get an extension to his contract that the Brewers turned down. That they took out the opt out not for this year, for the following year. So he's going to be a free agent after next year. So in all likelihood, the belief is that he's going to get traded, and really the only teams that are going to want him are going to be contenders like the Dodgers, the Yankees. I've heard the Mets, the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies and the Dodgers. I mean, the Phillies and the Yankees could certainly use a closer. The Orioles could certainly use a player of his caliber. They didn't have a closer the last month or so because, Craig Kimbrell basically, the wheels fell off of him. But those are players that could really, Devin Williams is a player that could help the Mets in the bullpen. I mean, it would give the Mets a super bullpen for a year. He wouldn't be happy about coming here and not closing games out. But if he's getting outs and the Mets win the World Series, it's not going to matter. But again, there's a lot of work to be done. Big fish, really the two big fishes is the one that's here. That's Pete Alonso and Juan Soto. And it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of effort to bring in Soto because obviously the Yankees have a good situation there. He's not tied down to them. He kind of let it be known he's going to go to the highest bidder. Pete Alonso's a different story. Be interesting to see what his market is. I've heard different teams involved. I've heard the Giants. I've heard the Pirates. I don't see Pete going to the Pirates. I don't see Pete going to the Giants, quite frankly. Because the way Pete's swing is, he will lose so many home runs in right center field there. It's a big reason why J.D. Martinez didn't sign there, because he was concerned about the power numbers and the home runs that he was going to lose by being in San Francisco. So that doesn't, to me, that doesn't make any sense from what I read that earlier today. But you need to subscribe to this channel, get all the rumors out there for you very quickly. No messing around. There's no fluff. There's no guff. I'm not begging people. You know, there's a lot of fun here, and it's much different than the other channels. Other channels are basically one interchangeable over the other. The only difference here is I'm naturally funny and entertaining. Never know what I'm going to say. So, and this is the best YouTube channel on this platform, and the best podcast, best Mets fans podcast on the internet. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you later.